taste the sunshine. I like to smell the wind. I like to feel the earth move. I like to be a friend. I like to hear the rainbow singing the color blue. I like the fact that I like someone like you.
I'm especially grateful for that children's moment because I've got like 25 papers to grade tonight, so I'm going to try that one out. This year, Unity's annual theme is how to stay centered no matter what. Boy, do we need this. Each month, we explore the role that one of the 12 powers plays in staying center and experiencing inner peace, no matter what is occurring around us. As Ginger said, it's a great day in our consciousness. This month, we're experiencing the power of release. In the 12 Powers of Man, Charles Fillmore says there must be renunciation or letting go of old thoughts before the new can find place in the consciousness. In the spirit of gratitude, we release that which no longer serves us or serves our highest expression, and open our hearts and minds to receive and experience the blessings in and around us. Please join me in saying this month's affirmation together. Whatever I release will bless me. Thank you. I'd like to highlight a couple of the following. Christmas choristers. If you're interested in participating in a Christmas choral experience and are available to rehearse in preparation for a late December performance, if you're musically inclined and motivated to gather with others to learn a new piece, please contact our choir director and accompanist, Phyllis Wycliffe, by email. Do I say the email on the? Okay. P. Wycliffe, that's PWICKLIFF @gmail.com. Your response by November 15th is appreciated. And I'm not so musically inclined, but I did join the group a couple of years, and it was so much fun. So much fun. They're very helpful. They're very supportive. If you have even a sliver of a desire to join in with them, I encourage you to do so.
The 15th is tomorrow.
The 15th is tomorrow. Think quickly. And then not tomorrow, join us Sunday, November 28th, after the service as we deck the halls. Plan now to remain after service to lend your help and creative energy. Let's make the chapel beautiful for this season of light and life. And now it's time for the daily word. The word for today is prosperity, and the affirmation is prosperity fills my life. Take a deep breath in just now. And as you exhale, allow the chair to accept the weight of your body. Let your shoulders drop. And close your eyes if that feels good to you. Current flowing through my home's wiring provides light, but first I must flip the switch to turn it on. Divine substance, the building block of creation, is the source from which my prosperity grows. But first, I must claim it in consciousness to live a prosperous life. The divine idea of prosperity is unlimited, more than sufficient to meet every need. I know true prosperity when I live from this truth. Giving freely and generously keeps prosperity at the forefront of my consciousness. I know the more I give, the more of myself I place into circulation, the more I will experience. As I give of myself, I increase the flow of prosperity in my life and in the world. From Mark chapter 4, verse 24, and he said to them, "Pay attention to what you hear. The measure you give will be the measure you get, and still more will be given to you." And now let us join together in speaking the affirmation aloud. Together, prosperity fills my life. And now repeat it to yourself silently. Prosperity fills my life. Let's now prepare for meditation.
What can I release today to bring more good to me? What can I release today to bring more good to me? What can I release today to bring more good to me? Fear. What can I release today to bring more good to negativity? What can I release today to bring more good to me? Control. What can I release today to bring more good to me? Ego. What can I release today to bring more good to me? Attachment. What can I release today to bring more good to me? At this time, I'd like to invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Take in a nice, deep, cleansing breath. And hold for a moment and release. Another deep, cleansing breath in. Hold. And release. Become aware of the support of the chair around you. Become aware of the warmth of your environment. Tap into that knowingness that you are safe and secure. And in this awareness, let's allow our attention to drop from our mind, but down just a little bit to that heart area. And now let's take a breath with our focus on that heart chakra, breathing in, holding, and slowly releasing it out. And now as we breathe normally, focused around our heart chakra, all of our cares and our concerns just drop away. What can I release today that will allow room for blessings? What can I release today that will allow awareness of the blessings that are already
in and around my life. In this time of meditation, we allow ourselves to be open to Spirit's guidance as we rest for the next few moments in this silence. I am so blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
One of the many ways that we are blessed as a congregation is with our music team. Our musical inspiration will be provided by our Unity music team, and our speaker today is Spiritual Ministry Co-Coordinator Ginger Curry.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, purpose under heaven.
A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven.
A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time to love, a time to hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Good morning, everyone. I don't know if you can tell. I'm sure that the music team can tell. I'm kind of bubbling over this morning. Bubbling over with good energy and just joyfulness. And I'm going to credit it because we have begun this journey of release. And we're releasing all of the things that no longer serve us so that we can open ourselves to receive and to be aware of the blessings that are around us. So I will say, I think that I've had a little bit more room to smile on my face and enjoy life a little bit more because of all of the things that I've released, all the cleaning up I have done. Maybe not at home yet, but in my mind, in my consciousness, I am making room. I'll get to my house. I know it. There is a time for everything. So the words I want to share before we kind of get into the talk today, a few pieces of inspiration that I came across during this last week. And the first one was the words to this song and the remembering of this song. This is a song that I said it's the Ginger Curry version of the Byrds version of the Pete Seeger version of the original words down that were written in the Hebrew scriptures about 200 to 400 years before the birth of Jesus. So I wanted to share, this is Ecclesiastes 3. And I won't read the first part of the Ecclesiastes because we just sang them to you. But so Ecclesiastes is part of the Hebrew scriptures, and it's one of the wisdom books. It's from the wisdom tradition. And although no one truly knows who wrote the book of Ecclesiastes, it is generally attributed to King Solomon. King Solomon was known as the son of King David, who wrote the Psalms, and King Solomon was known for his wisdom. And so, as I said, we just sang you the first 9 verses of the chapter, but I wanted to read a little bit more. The writer goes on to say, "What gain have the workers from their toil? What gain do we have from our work that we've chosen? I have seen the business that God has given to everyone to be busy with. He has made everything suitable for its time. Moreover, he has put a sense of past and future into their minds, yet they cannot find out what exactly God has done from the beginning to the end. That's the mystery. I know that there is nothing better for them than to be happy and enjoy themselves as long as they live. Moreover, it is God's gift that all should eat and drink and take pleasure in all their toil, in all of their work, in all of their life purpose. I found that a wonderful reminder that sometimes we have a lot of baggage around the word toil. And, granted, we are reading from the New Revised Standard Version here. I'm sure that we can play around with that word toil. But what we're talking about, or what I'm talking about, or how I've chosen to interpret this scripture, is that it's talking about what we've been called to do, what is calling us forth. And that in that, let's choose to enjoy all of the fruits of that adventure, of that journey, of that process. The next inspiration, and Seb, I have a slide for this, and Joni, I have a slide for this one too. I am actually taking a boat course because in 3 days, I'm going to be driving a boat in the ocean. I'm going to be the captain of my boat. So I thought that even though I've driven on Lake Monroe, I probably should maybe familiarize myself with a little bit more boating information. So I am taking a boat course on class, and in my boat course, I find this quote: "When we show up to the present moment with all of our senses, we invite the world to fill us with joy. The pains of the past are behind us. The future has yet to unfold. But now, right now, is full of beauty, simply waiting for our attention. But now is full of beauty, simply waiting for our attention." And then Ella this morning beautifully pointed out that she likes clouds. She likes the way they form. And it's just a reminder that there is so much beauty in the moment that if we just allow ourselves to open our eyes, wow, what joy can be found. The next piece of inspiration that I clung to, some things we are to hold on to. Not the negativity, but all the inspiration. That's what we hold on to. It's from the Daily Word for Friday, and it's about guidance. And we're reminded, here we go. I trust divine guidance when I need help, when I'm searching for help to make a decision. You can always change the words that are written here. These are a suggestion. That's how I talk to Phyllis when we talk about music. What's written on the page is a suggestion. We can choose. We can choose what notes we want to sing sometimes, unless Phyllis is the choir director, and then she gets to tell us what notes to sing. But we can make these words ring a little more truer for us. So when I'm seeking guidance to make a decision, I listen to the still small voice of spirit within. Recognize that the spiritual presence is always there and fills me with calm and assurance. There are many ways to connect with spirit, but the first is by letting go. Letting go. That's our theme. Letting go. But first is by letting go. I must first release the situation I want guidance about. And then with my human self, my ego out of the way, I stop my mind from trying to figure out the answer. And then as I step away, as I release the need to figure it out, then I can become open to the guidance of spirit. most of my anxiety that I experience in life has to do with me holding on to this idea that I have to come up to the solution with the problem or the situation. I have to come up with how it's going to work out instead of first going, this is the situation. I am going to release my need, release my attachment to solving the problem, and allow myself to quiet my mind, get myself out of the way so that I can be open for the divine guidance. These are the words that I have been thinking about this past week. And so we go to our next slide, and we remember that we are talking about blessing and release. Our affirmation for the month is, what I release will bless me. So what are we releasing? Just let's go through these, Joni. Thoughts and ideas that no longer serve us. Emotions that we hold on to with a tight grip. If we just release them, they'll bless us. Habits. I don't know about you, but I'm going to be on this earth for a long time because I have work to do, people. I have spiritual work to do, releasing my habits. Situations. We release our attachment to solving situations that we might find ourselves. And if we find that right now we're not in the space to be in that situation, maybe we leave that situation for a time until we have discovered or come across the skills that will help us be in that situation as the presence of God, as that expression of love. Sometimes we're just not there yet. And so we just have to be gentle with ourselves. Sometimes we have to release our attachment to relationships or who we are in those relationships, because we all have these intertwined relationships, like we're either a friend or maybe we're a mother or maybe we're a daughter or a son, maybe we're a grandparent. Sometimes we have to negotiate how we're showing up in our life and how we're showing up into other lives. And sometimes the relationship that we have with certain people, maybe it needs to shift a little bit. Maybe we need to give that other person a little more responsibility. Maybe it's time, like in my situation with, my own personal family, it's time for me to take a little more responsibility in my relationship to my father. So we're always navigating how we're showing up in our relationships. Sometimes there might be people that we need to release and bless. And sometimes these people might have already left us, but yet we're still holding on to them. So I invite you to explore. Do we have one more? Yes. Oh, this is it's not the most important thing, but this is one I'm working on. Things and possessions. I don't know about you, but if I had to move tomorrow, it would take me more than one day to get all my stuff together. I would need a couple of days, maybe a week to gather my possessions. And maybe I have too many possessions. Or maybe I have just the right amount. It's all up to us to decide what is right for us, what is enough for us. But, part of my work that, I'm working on this next year is really releasing the things that no longer serve me. I don't know about you, but clothing is a wonderful example of what I could release into the world and let someone else experience for a while. To make room in my closet, maybe to receive more clothing. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna, make plans like that. But, there's so many things that we can bless and release. And so, how do we do that? We'll go to the next one. How do we do that? Well, one of the ways is sometimes we have to work up to releasing things. And now let's come back to talking about ideas, things that we hold in our mind. So sometimes we're not ready to just claim it. We're not there yet. Sometimes we are. There are moments when I can just claim it. But sometimes I have to start off slowly. This isn't a race, everyone. I am open to the possibility. Actually, I got this one from Dave 2 years ago. She might not remember even sharing this idea, but sometimes we're not ready to say, I am love in this situation, because there might be a lot of emotions that we haven't dealt with yet. And so we have to start with, I am open to the possibility that I could express love in this situation. I am open to the possibility. The next phrase that we would say, I am open and willing to receive love in this situation. So I am open to the possibility. And now I am open and I am willing. And then maybe we can work up to the next one, which is, I experience and express, maybe it's love in this situation. Some of the examples I was thinking are, I'm open to the possibility of experiencing a blessing, or experiencing abundance, or experiencing wholeness. I am open and willing to receive a blessing, experience abundance, express wholeness, or, as we would call it, absolute language. I experience a blessing in this moment. I experience a blessing. You want to try that out? Join me. I experience a blessing. Or I experience abundance. Or I experience health and wholeness in this now moment. So that's that absolute language. We're ready to claim it. I experience health and wholeness in this moment. So sometimes we have to practice. We have to go through. We have to build up those muscles. I am open to the possibility. I'm open and willing. Are you willing? Some of us are not willing. We go, oh, I wish this would happen. But are we willing to allow it to happen? I had an experience on Friday. I did some studio work. So, you go in, they tell you what to sing, you sing it, and you do your couple hours of work, and actually I could not tell you what I sang because I just did what they told me to do. And then, it's time to receive my compensation, and I received it, and my first thought when I received it was, oh, that's too much. Wow. And then I was thinking about this later this weekend and going, whoa, in the moment, my first thought was, wow, this is too much. I was, in that moment, I was saying, I'm not worth this. And I thought I've done a lot of work on this kind of attitude, this kind of thought in my brain. But I recognized it. I was like, whoa, I got some work to do. And it's not like it was a big surprise how much I received. It was just like, the first thing was like, whoa, this is way too much. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna need to work on that, because it was what they were offering. It was the blessing in that moment. And, by golly, I'm worth every penny of that. And so it's recognizing those moments in our lives when we have these aha moments. They're like, wow, where did that thought come from? Oh. So this process, I am open and I am willing to receive. We have to be comfortable with people giving us abundance. We have to be open to receiving the gifts of Spirit. Just a little sharing there. While we're doing this work, and I think this happened maybe to me last week or maybe it was the week before when we first started, is that there's this thing, I never heard about it until I started exploring unity. There's this concept called chemicalization. And so I went to the source, which I call, this is my heart-centered metaphysics manual. Kind of. This is the book. If you have a question, you go to this book. And it's written or put together by Reverend Paul Hesselbeck. It's the Metaphysics, a Deeper Look at Unity Teachings. And so we look at chemicalization. It happens when the awareness of a new spiritual truth. So if there's something, a new idea that we're being exposed to, it meets an old belief, or as Charles Fillmore used this phrase a lot, error thoughts in consciousness. resulting in a conflict and upheaval. So it's when a new spiritual idea bumps up against an idea or a thought that we have kind of held on to from our past or our upbringing, and we go, oh, that's a new idea, and it's not my experience, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. So sometimes it shows up as a physical, you might get a cold. It can be emotional, you might need to crawl under the covers for a while, let that idea settle itself. Or you might have a mental symptom, like you might just be foggy for a while, because it's like, that idea is too, what is the word? Radical. Too radical for me. I'm not with it. So I'm gonna read from the book here. Chemicalization is the experience of inner conflict and upheaval that often occurs when aspects of our consciousness resist the transformation process. This happens when high spiritual realizations conflict with a belief that is contrary to the new realization. In mainstream Christianity, there is a lot of unworthiness in the teachings. And so some of us that grew up in that faith tradition bring to this now moment that embedded theology of unworthiness. And so when we start saying our second principle is, that there is a Christ within me, there's this Christ spirit within me and with all people. We were born with original blessing as opposed to original sin. That is one example of conflicting theologies. Either you're worthy or you're unworthy. and so our brains kind of go, either I'm worthy or I'm unworthy. And apparently I'm still sorting some of that out with the experience that I just shared with you. We believe our truth is that we are worthy. That's our innate essence as spiritual beings. So chemicalization may show up as nauseousness or the appearance of symptoms in your body, sleeplessness, or a return to old desires and habits that you had previously overcome. We must remember that these elements of our life are coming into our awareness and attention in such undeniable ways so that we can choose to release them. They're bubbling up to the surface to give us the opportunity to go, wow, didn't know you were still there. Let's release this. When chemicalization takes place, we have a wonderful opportunity to let our Christ mind strengthen and restore us. If we meet our challenges with a non-resistant attitude, a kind heart, and accept them as part of our growth experience. Everything you and I have experienced to this point in our life are part of our growth experience. We can become more comfortable with the aspects of spiritual evolution that involves letting go of all old thought patterns. Frequently, a person will view this upheaval as evidence they are not doing something, or that they are doing something wrong, when in fact, this chemicalization is proof that they are doing something wrong. So when we are going through a healing process, sometimes we get symptoms that bubble up. And the symptoms don't mean that you're doing it wrong. The symptoms mean that it's working. It's causing things to bubble up. When I got my vaccine on Thursday, my booster shot, my arm hurt. It got warm in that area. I was grateful that I didn't experience, a lot of symptoms, but the activity, the symptoms showing up, like if I had gotten a little sniffy nose, that doesn't mean that I am catching what I'm getting the vaccine for. It means that it's working in my body. It's creating a response so that I can become stronger. I'm doing the right thing. So when we are kind of exploring these ideas, these truths and spiritual ideas, if something bubbles up that's uncomfortable, sometimes our first thought is, oh, better not do that anymore because it's uncomfortable. I must be doing it wrong. It's 98% possible that you're doing it right, and that these things are bubbling up because you're allowing them to bubble up to the surface so light can shine on them and so you can finally release them. It's like, how do you feel the first day after you exercise? When you haven't exercised for a while, you don't feel great that next morning. And if you go, oh, I'm sore, I don't think exercise is for me, then you're never going to exercise again. And I think that we all have enough proof and enough examples in our research that shows that, yeah, exercise is good for us. And you're going to feel uncomfortable the day after you exercise if you haven't exercised in a while, and that is good. That is good. And it doesn't mean to stop. It means to keep going. So you ask me, well, what do I do if something bubbles up for me? Well, you just click that next slide, Joni, and we know what to do. We bless and release. We repeat. We rinse and repeat. Just like the shampoo commercial tells us. Wash and repeat. Wash and repeat. We just keep doing this. We release those negative thoughts and ideas. We release those emotions. We release the habits. We release everything that is not calling forth our highest experience on this planet. We're here for such a short time in the big scheme of the world. So I want to encourage all of us to choose to experience life, to choose to experience life with a joyful, with curiosity, with a playful attitude, with an adventurous attitude. What are we going to do today? That's how Phyllis is every Sunday. What are we going to do today? Actually, I do tell her on Thursday what we're doing on Sunday, so it's not a total surprise, but everyone else is like, what are we going to do today? It's a surprise. It's an adventure. It's joyful. If you are choosing to experience your existence as hard, as painful, as suffering, that's what you will experience. You will experience life as hard, as painful, as full of suffering. We all have the opportunity to experience life as hard and painful and as full of suffering. We all go through pretty much, it's the human experience. We can choose to experience life that way. Or we can do as Solomon was saying, let's choose to enjoy the fruits of our labor. Let's choose to enjoy this life. Let's sing, let's dance, let's eat. Let's enjoy our companionship and our relationships with others. Let's choose. And that's what I want to share with you. And I want you, as we go through this next week, whenever we bump up against to this physical experience, that's an opportunity to choose to be God in expression, to choose to be joy, to choose to be life. Not to we never gloss over anything and say, oh, this situation, it'll work itself out. Well, yeah, it'll work itself out if you put a plan together to allow it to work itself out. We don't deny that it's cold outside, and so we don't walk outside without our coat on. We're aware of what's happening around us, but yet where our power comes from is that we choose how we respond to the situations that are occurring in our life, that are occurring around us, that are occurring to the world. Choose. So this week, as we go through our week, let's bless and release. Let's bless and release. Let's choose. Let's choose to be present for the good times, for the not so good times. Let's choose to be compassionate. Let's be open and willing to love and to receive love. Let's be open and willing to be present. So as we kind of close this time of our service, I want to invite you to speak this affirmation one more time. So together, let's say it with conviction. Whatever I release will bless me. And so it is.
Thank you so much for that message. There's so much in it that we all need, and especially coming up to the end of the year when we traditionally are thinking about what do we want to get rid of and what do we want to create. So now is the time to start thinking about that. And we now turn to the spiritual practice of generosity. We're so grateful for the many ways that this center supports us in our spiritual growth, and we in turn are happy to support this center with our financial contributions and voluntary service. We're also grateful to those who have already put in place automatic weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual giving. And today, if you feel led to give, you can visit our website at unityofbloomington.org and click on the giving link. And if you brought a tithe or a love offering with you this morning, we invite you to place it in the singing bowl at the back of the chapel on your way out of the service. The singing bowl is also where you can leave your prayer requests. If you need a little help in letting go of something, or if you need a little help in being willing or being open to receive something, go ahead and write it on one of those little cards and put it in our singing bowl and get that support that you need from people you don't even know. You'll find the prayer request card in the pocket of the seat in front of you. Please join with me now in speaking aloud our abundance affirmation. Together, I am an abundant being living in an abundant universe. God is the source of my supply. I am not dependent on people or situations for my good. God is the source of my supply. I always have something to give, and I consistently give it. I expect the best, I give my best, and I now attract the best in every experience. We celebrate our prosperity and we bless our abundance with these words together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I'd like to invite you to stand now if that feels comfortable and join with me in saying our closing prayer. Please stand. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. In gratitude for our continued radiant health, please remain in place and join us in singing together, Let There Be Peace on Earth. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed week.